Hey, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Oh, taking the journey show. And I know you're looking, those who are back with us, and wondering, with this chair being empty over here and this beautiful short lady sitting right beside me, yes, her, you're probably wondering, where is the other half? Also, you can tell I'm not wearing my sunglasses today. I forgot to bring them on, even though the sun up there is pretty bright usually on my eyes. But anyway, I know those who are out there are wondering, where is Miss Butts? Where is Miss Butts? Where is that better half? Where is that partner? Where is that lover? Where is that other beautiful lady that usually sits on the other side? Why is she not here? Well, folks, I hate to say it. She lost her job because she resigned, and we had to let her go. That's what happened. And when she in turn left, she looked at me before she shut the door and said, I'm going all the way to Korea, leaving out of this country so you can never find me again. And I said, oh my God, I am felt so bad. And so I had to replace her with someone else coming all the way from another country. And here she is right now.
Good
Oh,
morning. Oh, wait, I said good morning because it's morning here. Good evening. Glad to be there.
well, who are you? And where are you calling from since you resigned? Oh well, no, I'm sorry. I know what a joke. Go ahead.
I am Sharon, and we are still taking this journey together.
Are we not?
I am calling in from Busan, South Korea right now.
What's how's it pronounced?
Busan.
Busan?
Uh-huh.
Like boots on. I got my boots
Yeah.
on.
Well, yeah, kind of close to that. Busan.
Oh, okay, good. I had to turn your mic up a little bit. Hopefully everybody can hear you. Okay. So what in that can you hear me okay?
I hear you fine.
Okay, good. So you're way in South Korea. When you left
Yes.
the door like you said you was going to do, you meant it. And I should have took that co-host away because you're over there and you already got the co-host there. But anyway, thank you
At
anyway.
least, at least for today. Next week I will probably not be able to do it because our day starts early. It's seven
Mhm.
o'clock here in the morning,
7 o'clock
um,
in the morning,
Friday morning.
Friday.
So yes, and
Wow.
so our day usually starts about 6. We usually meet for breakfast and um, or 6:30, and then we keep on moving. And so that would keep me from being on the show for the next few weeks.
Wow. Well, you will not believe this, but I can too, just because I'm a believer. We're kind of so. We have a special guest. See, because when you left the door and you told me you wasn't coming back again, I said to
Yes.
myself, I'm going to have to make sure I have special guests here that will almost take your place. Now, they may not look as good as you, but you know what? They have the knowledge to outrun, out jump like Superman in this case over you and me. And so I had him. Oh, I'm giving away the name. Anyway, I had this person as a guest all ready to come on. And then
And
you show up. And I thought you were
and
just gone.
and today I'm kind of like a guest too because I have not prepared for what we're talking about because it was not until yesterday that I found out that I was even going to be able to be on the show.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. So you want to do like you usually do. Give us what the vision is of those who are just now showing up to taking the journey together. And then we're going to bring our guest in.
okay, and you all are going to have to bear with me because I'm doing this off the top of my head.
You did enough. You should know it close enough.
Exactly. We This is our belief statement. We are going to relate. It doesn't matter what our mother, father, sister, brother, children, or even what Jesus says, we are going to relate. But at taking the journey together, we believe in relating in a balanced manner. What we mean by balanced is we enter into a relationship with our friend first. So we start with a friendship relationship and then we build it into a lovership relationship and we go forward with the relationship with both aspects coming from both partners.
With both our feet in the waters.
Exactly.
And Sharon, maybe if you're looking this on a laptop or your phone, you need to lift up a little bit more. You got not much clearance above your head, and that's what we need because we want to see more of your pretty face. There we
Okay.
go. That is
All
very
right.
good.
I was
Okay.
trying to keep from holding it. That's what was happening.
Oh,
So,
work.
okay.
See if you can prop it against something.
I don't have
I meant
anything
to say
tall
something
to
to you a little
prop
bit
it
more.
against.
What's that?
Yeah. I don't have anything tall that I can prop it up on.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay.
So that's okay.
Okay, you want to go ahead and introduce our guest? He's sitting back there patiently too. At that.
Well, he is not a newcomer.
No, he's not.
He is very familiar with taking the journey together, very familiar with the both of us, has helped us out so much as far as our health is concerned. And when he finds out what I've been doing these last few days, it's probably going to be like, oh my gosh, what a drastic change. But anyway, I'm not going to just keep this going like this. Our guest is, well, he can introduce himself more than I can. We are glad to have back with us Dr. Ferrante Frazier. Good
Thank y'all for.
morning.
Hello, how y'all doing today? I
Doing
think,
well.
Good.
okay, I just want to make sure y'all can hear me first of all. You know how
Yeah,
this
you can.
technology can be sometimes. But thank y'all for having me back up here as well, and thanking y'all for allowing me to, come back up and at this good topic that y'all have today. When I saw it, I was like, wow, I was just talking to some people about this very same thing. And for you to have it as a topic, I said, it's just really amazing.
Yes.
It had to be necessary that I had to be a part of this one.
And it's something about synchronizations, Mr. Dr. Frazier. Here we just giving a little bit of backstory. I think it was last week or the week before that you were talking about after the big meeting we had, and you said, "I'm
Hmm.
going to come back on your show," and you really didn't know what the topic was. Neither did I. What we were going to
Right.
And neither did I. So until yesterday.
because I mean, she was going to be out of town, actually out of the country, and and she's in Korea
Wow.
right now. So
Oh,
and so
wow.
yeah, exactly. So it's early in the morning for her, and
Hmm.
so I basically was going to do the recording thing, and then I thought to myself, well, if I can get some guests from the past to come on the show, Sharon was saying, okay, that's comfortable. We'll keep rolling with it. And so you're one of them that raised their hands, and we went from there. And that's when the topic came about. I think the topic came about because we were going to do open discussion a couple of days ago, and that's only because of the fact somebody was discussing with me when I talked to them about my famous old word that comes to balanced relationship, which is called interconnectivity. And so this person said to me, "So have you ever heard of intra?" I spelled it wrong too. That's wrong. Intra dependence. Intra dependence. Oh, is it inter? No, it's intradependence.
It's intra.
Yes,
That's
Hmm.
it's
what you told me
intra,
last
not
night.
inter, because I always talk about interdependence where two people can do more. Excuse me. Yeah, two people can do more than what one person can do by themselves. And this person said, "But have you heard of the word called intradependence?" I said again, intra, INTRADEPEN, and the rest, you know. I said, no, not really. And they kind of emphasized to me in the relationship how important intra dependence is, even in connection to interdependence. I said, oh. And so I had to do my usual and doing some studying that gave me some reflections of what actually we really do. You know, sometimes we are doing something that we really don't know and don't have an explanation behind it. But then someone has to say what the explanation is, and then it becomes a confirmation and it makes sense because clarity then comes. And
Right.
so I think on your end, you're probably going to help us about with it because I probably know there's some symbiotic systems that you want to talk about that have to do with us as a being. That intradependence is awfully important. But I'm gonna stop like usual. I'm gonna go ahead and let you start with that, brother.
Yes, it definitely is. Like I said, this was a big topic that was going on and dealing with a lot of my clients. So here again, I really do want to tell you how thankful I am to be on the show today, speaking about this more, because when you send the topic, it made me look into some stuff as well. Even though I've, been teaching about symbiosis and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had to talk with a client the other day about how the body is symbiotic,
Mm.
and that's what showed how she needed to deal in her relationship. She was wondering how they was living more on a codependence instead of interdependence. They was more on a
Mm-hmm.
codependence,
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
here um, I had to show her about the human body because that's how I know how to relate. When somebody asks me something, well, I tend to refer to the body a lot because that's what I study. Somebody else
Mm-hmm.
might refer to a car. If they a mechanic or something. Well, this is how the transmission and the carburetor. One can't do without the other if you want the car to run. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Well, I tend to do that with the body, and I tend to start off by talking about, basic cells. A lot of people don't know that the human body is made up of trillions of cells, but each one of those cells are, they depend on one another. You know, that's what they call the differentiation of the cells. Each cell, when the body is born, all these cells are broken down and split into single cells, and each one of them is sent to do a job. One becomes a heart, one becomes a lung, one become a stomach, one become a gland. All the different processes and things in the body are all backed up by individual cells that have that doing their part to do this thing called a living. Your body, for you can have this body, to walk around and do stuff. All the cells are combined together as a community. That's what they call a organism, a community of cells.
Mm.
So this is this community of cells that's working together for the common good of the whole organism, in other words.
Okay, hold for a second. Hold for a second. Hold for a second. I had to. After that statement, I'm just all of a sudden excited to actually hear you say. Say that again, brother. Say that again, brother.
Well, according to biology, the
Uh
human
huh.
organism is a community of cells working
Okay.
together for the common good of the whole organism.
Wow. So Sharon, do you think that you could take his statement, bridge it over to beings that exist in a relationship? And could we attach the same thing to it at all? Or is that just really something we just can't do because we're not little tiny or aren't we made of organisms? Aren't we made
Yes,
of
we
little
are.
cells? Aren't
We
we
are.
not at all? Well, can we do that, Sharon?
Yes.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, yeah, because when you take into consideration a community, it's what we make it. We don't always think of a community and say, This is coming off the top of my head. This has been triggered from what Dr. Frazier just said because I hadn't thought of it this way. But a community is made up of people who are like-minded generally. You try to
Mm-hmm.
gravitate to where you're going to be with people who have the same thought processes as you, who are working towards the same goals as you. And
Mm-hmm.
so from my thought as I'm making this bridge, isn't that what a relationship is supposed to be about? When you're in a committed relationship, a long-term committed relationship, isn't that what it's supposed to be about?
Mm-hmm.
Like-minded people working towards the same goals, the same understanding, working to make the whole relationship and each other so much better.
Yes.
Okay. I say
And
yes.
I and I'm trying to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly as we make that bridge because that's what I heard.
So here, according to one of my professors, he would always say that an organism is a greater or lesser number of cohering parts, possessing intimate relations among themselves, exchanging services and substances with each other, and working for the common good rather than selfish individual advantage, in other words. Now, I know he used some kind of, words there, but it breaks down into what I said with is basic biology. It's just a bunch of parts that come together You know, like me and you, like we all came together to make this show today. You
Mhm,
know, I'm giving my
Mhm.
part, you know, you're giving your part, he's giving his part. So we've come together for a common goal. What? To teach the people what about interconnectedness. You know, so interdependence. You know.
yeah, yeah. See, but you said something that I thought was very unique. Uh, um, um, which was what did he say, Sharon, a few minutes ago? I
What
think
he said.
I think I
Mhm.
heard he said a word that they're not selfish. Did I hear that wrong? Hold on.
No.
No, did I not hear that? I thought I heard a word not selfish. You
Right.
mean hold on? You're telling me molecules who I think got no brains in them, no little bitty brains in them, that at their level they just autonomously operate in such a way that they know how to be not selfish or working together as a community? Is that what you're telling me, bro? Come on, brother, you can't be telling me that because I thought
That's
all highly intelligent beings are supposed to. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
that's exactly what I'm telling you. They come together for the common good of the whole. You know, it's a whole. It's like a partnership. When you look at symbiosis, symbiosis is a partnership. You know, each person is giving their best to bring about a good cooperation for the common good of both parties. In other words, it got to be unselfish. You know what I'm saying? If it's symbiotic, if we look at it, we can look at in nature. We don't even have to just look at in the human body. We can look at nature, for example. Imagine if the bee would be selfish and not go and pollinate he only eat the nectar out of the flower and don't spread the pollen for the flower. Well, what is he going to eat next year if he's selfish? Because if he don't pollinate and spread the pollen way more flowers can grow the next year, he's going to be without food. So
Mm-hmm.
now let's say that the flower don't give out pollen, but only I mean don't give out nectar to the bees. Well, then it's not going to attract the bee to come there and spread its pollen, so it don't even live the next year. So it got to be unselfish by giving up nectar, where it can live, perpetual generations after generation. And the bee must, not be selfish, not to spread the pollen because it won't get nectar from generations on generations. That's just a
Mm.
symbiotic relationship.
So let me ask you on that note. Is there a kind of saying out there that well, this is the natural way of order. It's
Yes.
programmed in their DNA to operate this way.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, excuse me. I'll not say yes. I'll just stay it there. You're shaking your head. So, what is it that is the difference in natural beings where that operation is not something that is a natural way of order in a relationship? Is it because they're just two separate human beings that even within them, their cells kind of operate that way? Because you might kind of contest that, say they don't always operate all the time that way. That's why I exist. But anyway, um, um, I'm trying to get to why does it seem to be not a natural order of things of two beings or two human beings to operate that way then?
Well, you got two issues there. One would explain what it is, and that's pretty much what Darwinism was talking about when it goes to dog eat dog situation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Darwin theory explains how mankind has shifted their own self from that state of symbiosis or
Mm-hmm.
interdependence. But we see in other teachings that it's the ego. You know, the ego, it was like a self-preservation technique that, we all have this so-called self-preservation. That's the
Mm-hmm.
law. That's the number one law of the cell is self-preservation. But
Mm-hmm.
when the cells, they know how to lay down that law when it comes to helping the whole. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that humans, which, like you say, is supposed to be more elevated in consciousness, we don't know how to let down that from self-preservation to preservation of the whole. In other words,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
it's something that we're not like your word. We're not bridging this thing over. We're not going from self-preservation to preservation of the whole. But that's a higher state of conscious. When you get to a state where you don't see
Mm-hmm.
yourself as the
Mm-hmm.
lower self, but you see yourself as the, the all self,
So are you saying, sure, you gotta, chime in as being
Yes,
the
I'm
only
sorry.
female here because
I
some other
apologize. I
females might
had
be
gotten
thinking
distracted
differently.
just for a few minutes. So,
So what do
there's a
you
lot
think?
going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to
What?
join into this particular
Abs
group?
absolutely. Absolutely. I had gotten a message about meeting and things like that, and it was just kind of like, okay. But anyway, yeah, I'm really trying to learn here, and I'm liking the idea of the symbiosis because that's one thing that I can connect with, and the fact that it's a way that we're of saying that we're all interconnected and we all need to understand that it's kind of like the meaning of Ubuntu. I
Hmm.
am because you are.
Because of who we are. Yeah, but you is on. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So in our relationship, for example, I would not be in the position that I am in if it were not for the things that you did to encourage me to be there or be here, and vice versa. Am I correct in that?
We're just waiting for your crowd to clap behind you. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
'Cause it was almost like a quiet standoff for a second.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said, am I correct or not? And if not, I want to be
there,
corrected
there,
because I
there,
need to
there is
understand.
culturally connected as for we're on the all black media network and keeping it on the transparent side. There is a definitely rift between, I do mean rift between our brothers and our sisters when it comes to relationships. There's no doubt about it. And because of that, the idea of even a balanced relationship is new and being presented, no doubt about it.
Yes.
And interconnectivity, where you could do more with somebody else than what you could do with yourself, is a newer presentation. Now we're hearing when it comes to, in this case, called intra, not inter, intra
Intra.
dependence. We're hearing from our doctor here that it's a higher, if I'm right, a higher consciousness thought. It's a higher consciousness of wanting to, in turn, live your life that way. Yet we heard from him also on the lowest bitty level, at least that's what we think, the biological functions of cells, understand to know that from the standpoint of not a selfish point of view, but also know that they can't exist by themselves unless the whole community exists. They have
Yes.
Right.
that understanding all by themselves. Yet in our relationships, especially sadly in our urban community, our black community, many times, we don't even have that concept. We're too busy fighting with one another. We're too busy have power struggles. We will let sometimes outside conditions say how we should act because of past circumstances, slavery being one of them. Also, too, the continuation of that battle between male and female and then not understanding the balance. So the idea that in a relationship, even a balanced relationship, I really have to think or believe that how they really are, I need to really connect to for part of my survival and vice versa for the whole thing of us. Nah, I'm just saying.
Well, the amoeba cell is one of the lowest cells that you're talking about here, the amoeba cell.
Mm-hmm.
And it possesses no arms, no legs, no stomach, no mouth or anything. However, it can transform itself into a mouth. It would have to transform its whole self into the mouth to take in nutrients. But when it's a
Mm,
mouth, it can't move. All right. Now,
mm.
if it want to move, it can't eat anything because it can't be a mouth. It got to transform itself into a leg, you know. So
Wow.
when it, whenever it's doing something, it can only do that thing. But if you have another amoeba cell that will come about and act as a leg and one that act as a mouth, you can eat and walk at the same time. You see what I'm coming from now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's how these cells come together in our human body and they start differentiating. They become a specific function or structure designed to do something that will benefit the whole of the body. The heart become a part to circulate blood throughout the body.
Mm-hmm.
And it stays that the whole time it's in your body,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to stay a heart cell. It can't change to become a brain cell or decide, hey, I don't want to be a heart no more. I want, I want to be a kidney or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it can't say it want to do something different. It got to maintain what it's supposed to do. If it don't, it's going to die, because if it don't circulate blood for the kidney to get rid of waste, then the waste is going to build up in the body, and the heart going to die anyhow. If it don't pump blood to the stomach, where the stomach can digest food, then there's not going to be any nutrition for the heart to keep beating. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
so
Wow.
it's a whole thing that you got to do your job. If you don't do your job thinking that you're going to be selfish, then you're going to die in the process. In other
Wow.
words, eventually.
Wow. Wow. That is there's so much ramifications in that could be crossed over as it should be, which is what we're here to do, in the actual beings being people that have those dynamics already operating in us to have us function the way we do function. Now,
Right.
we know from that particular level, talking to Sharon, being here, talking about roles to a certain extent. Someone's got a thumbs up. Thank you, Sharon, for that. I guess that was Sharon who did that, or somebody
Not
else.
intentionally, but I do feel like
Thank,
it required a thumbs up. Yes,
um,
I didn't know how to do that.
I, I look at you as being the heart. You keep things pumping in the relationship.
And you're the brain
Energy
because you keep
function.
things moving from
Well,
one thing to another. So,
okay.
but without the heart, there
Mm-hmm.
would be no brain function. Without the brain, there would be no heart function. So it's kind of, those are roles that uh, you put things together on. Because when you think of people who are in the hospital and they say, well, they're brain dead, there's a machine keeping the rest of the body going. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's not it's not something else has taken over that that function, that functionality. And
Mm-hmm.
so those two things to make the human body keep functioning, they are very, in my opinion, and I could be wrong again, but to me they are very integral in keeping life happening.
And they are. I mean, when we have I'm just kind of clicking kind of things. When we have Dr. Frazier speak about it in the level that has to do with what we're made of, it's much more easier than to hopefully attach it to us as human beings, and understanding when two human beings come together, that functionality is happening within us, and we still have that ability to also function that same way with one another. If in turn, and I use the word if only because I believe that even though that happens within us, there's still at the end what they call intrinsically, where we are supposed to be in symbiotic beings, whatever that means,
Mm-hmm.
which is we have the power of choice. Some would say what Doc was talking about are those beings operating for the fact of staying alive, that they really do not have a symbiotic a choice or a essence of a choice in that matter. And they say human beings, as human beings, we have a higher element of thought of making that choice. Yet, I'm also agreeing with Doc, who's saying, yet that higher way of thought that they're already doing is one of those kind of choices that we seem to not be able to get to higher to do. It seems to me that many times that choice is a choice that is lower, that the independence of a individual, especially in a relationship, is mostly more important. And be damned this idea of us being intra connected and then make it under the guise of, ooh, it's going to keep us together. What do you think about that, Doc?
Well, like I was saying about Darwinism, he got this concept of evolution by consumption,
Mm-hmm.
or evolution by chaos, or something like that. So it's always saying that we need to either eat or be eaten, in other words.
Mm.
So if we're in that state of mind, which most of society is in that state of mind, hey, I got to get out here and get what I get. I'm not worrying about nobody else, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
building for myself, and forget everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're losing our our symbiotic mindset, in other words.
Mm.
Because not only is the television shows showing us that, not only is the music showing us that, we're seeing it in activities around the world. Only when you see groups such as, well, you see a symbiotic relationship where you see certain
Mm-hmm.
groups you see, like what is, like the Mormons when they come
Mm-hmm.
together,
Mm-hmm.
certain Muslim groups, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You see, I'm going to say it even like this: you see Mexicans come together over here with nothing, and they get in the house together, and each one of them start working together, symbiotic, until they get a house,
Mm-hmm.
get their brother a house, the sister a house, and everybody got a truck
Hmm.
and different stuff. So we see them be symbiotic for a minute. We see a form of symbiosis and interconnectedness just for a moment there, until you see everybody get what they want, then they start spreading out. You see a difference there. But
But
that
then,
just show you. Go ahead.
oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. You good. I was wrapping it up there. Yeah.
Because I was thinking, but then when yeah, if we get that mindset and we stay in that mindset, especially in relationships, isn't that when we realize we're in a relationship for the long haul and we have made a commitment to take the good with the bad, to make sure that we connect and move through things, which helps people to, which helps us understand why people can stay in relationships 50, 60, 70 years if they live that long. I was just talking to my sister-in-law a few days ago, one day last week, and she was saying that she and my brother just celebrated their 53rd wedding anniversary. And we think, oh, well, that must be because everything went smoothly. Well, if everything goes smoothly, of course things are gonna still be okay. But if there's an up and down, is it not that we have to come back into that symbiotic relationship after every breakdown and strengthen the relationship that we have in order for it to continue to work, where that intradependence happens?
Mm-hmm. Is that a question?
It's a statement and a question and a question and a statement, I think. It's all rolled into
Or both?
one.
Or both? So what do you think, Doc?
Yes.
Well, I want to share something. This might
Okay.
answer it. All right. I'm just going to read something to you real quick. You tell me if this may help answer that a little bit. All right. So,
Okay.
according to Dr. Shelton, he talks about intracellular symbiosis. All right. The intra, like how you're talking about here, it's the intracellular symbiosis. He says now known to be a widespread phenomenon. It has been found that many animals, especially insects and some worms, regularly harbor in their bodies bacteria or fungal microorganisms which reside in special cells, the so called mycotocytes, and which may almost be said to form another tissue of the animal. Sometimes they are actually formed into special organs with characteristic structure. These associations have received the name plant animals. Many Ephesoria, polyps, corals, and worms harbor their green or yellow unicellular algae and frequently cannot do without them. What I'm saying here, okay, let me just try to make you understand a little bit what he's saying there. He's talking about an intracellular symbiosis. Like, for example, something that y'all will be more familiar with. Like in our gut, you ever heard them say something about good bacteria or good gut flora?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, we
Yes.
got bacteria that actually lives in our gut and it benefits us from it living in our gut. And if we don't let it live in our gut, then we don't digest food. But when if they don't eat, if we don't feed them good food, they don't live and grow in our body to help us. Like for example, certain bacteria in our stomachs create B12 for us. We for special vegan people who don't eat meat, they need B12. And if they don't have the good gut flora to digest their food and turn it into B12, then they'll start being weak. not producing good blood. So it's a symbiotic relationship. If I feed my gut bacteria, which this is an intracellular symbiosis. I'm allowing something to live inside of me, and so doing, I'm going to benefit from it. I'm gonna have, I'm gonna be strong. I'm not going to have weakness. I'm gonna be able to, build healthy blood where I can be strong and support my body and all. So here it is. I bring somebody into my life, might be a wife, might be another person, a relationship, and for doing so, I'm going to benefit from that long as I protect and feed and take care of this person. They're going to benefit me by helping me eat, helping me do this, helping me do that. Does that make sense?
It
Yes.
it does, and it does to this extent too. Um, I am looking at the clock, and I'm thinking that we have gotten a lot of information that we may need to digest. This might be a good time to take a break so people can
You are
do
just
some
on my
digest a little bit.
same vein. Are
See,
we? Are
that's
we?
your cellular benefit right there.
Yeah, go. Now hold on for a second. Were we supposed to be calling taking a break, or are we wrong about that? What is this
Taking
supposed
a
to?
break.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can
it
take a
is.
Taking a
little
Okay.
break.
break. You
It
take a
is
little
taking.
break.
We're all
You
with
can
the same.
run to the bathroom real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll all run to the bathroom, and we'll be right back. Okay. And we're all back. Oh, did I catch you at the bad time, Sharon?
No,
Wait,
I'm
look,
good. No,
you look like I caught you at a bad time. I can always
it was
wait back if you need to powder your face, your nose, and everything
no.
else.
Face is as good as face is going to be. I was just, as I said, I keep getting these messages in, and I had, we get messages from our group leader, probably 10 or 15 of them a day, and when
Uh,
she's trying to get us all together, that's the thing, which means I've got probably 10 more minutes that I can be on. Then I got to get ready and go down to breakfast because we're leaving breakfast and we're hitting the road, and we'll probably be out until 9 o'clock tonight.
so we're so
So,
glad that you are able to extend yourself here. Remember, the chair is still here when you come back. It's not going anyplace. So tell us real quickly. You see, it's moving down below. A little bit about where they can find a little bit more about us, if all possible.
okay, we are at takingthejourneytogether.com. Email us at ttjt at takingthejourney-together.com. On Facebook, we are TTJ Together. And Instagram, we are, this is my favorite, Taking the J Together. Or you can call us at 912-421-8882.
Okay, you're right.
How'd that go?
I can't believe that you actually did that, to be honest with you. But
I can't either because
well,
it's tiny on my phone.
I know. How about the other one right here?
Oh, you can also catch us on WRUU. And tomorrow, our WRUU recording will be very interesting because we did it before I left. And so it won't be on this topic, it'll be on a different one. But we are at 107.5 WRUU. And you can catch us every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Exactly, Eastern Standard Time. All right.
Yes.
So we're going to get back to what we were talking about. Sharon, you look like you was right in the mix. You decided to finally come in to the fold, the community, the village. You decided to become part of the rest of the cell here.
Yes, and I apologize for that. When I made the decision last night that, oh, guess what? I can actually make the show. I still didn't know all the moving parts that would be going on here. So I'm kind of like, it's symbiotic in two different places, and that's not that easy to do.
Exactly. Well, Dr. Fraser and I could get into quantum mechanics and things like that and say that's not necessary.
You all can,
but I will leave that.
You can. I tell you what, you've got about 10 minutes.
No,
and you can just go into quantum theory all the way. And give me the
we still got so much to
version.
talk about on this interconnectedness. There's a lot more there.
Yes, interdependence is such a hard thing to really funnel through our mind because at the end there's that word called dependence, and we have been shown, told, and presented as human beings, falsely by the way, that we could be totally independent of any and everybody and still somehow make a connection to all. Have you noticed that? So it's hard for us to think dependence is actually connected to something that calls intra, that actually is connected to others. Very hard, especially right now. It's unbelievably hard. Politics and all that good stuff. It's just unbelievably hard. Unless you do it as if you're in my village, you're in my group, and then we're all interconnected because you all believe and think the same way. But as for all of us, no. But anyway, let's move on. Go ahead.
I just want to say what you were talking about as far as we believe that we can be independent and we can do all things by ourselves. That is really kind of I wouldn't say a misnomer, but it is it's rather an arrogant attitude to have especially when you take into consideration that human beings are the most dependent individuals or organisms from even before they are born until the end of their lives. We're always dependent on somebody. And so those people who say, I can do it all by myself, no, you can't. If you are realistic and you are understanding what's actually going on, even down to the clothes you wear, most of us or most people would be walking around naked because they don't know how to make clothes. And if they do know how to make clothes, they don't know how to make the fabric to make the clothes. So you're still dependent on somebody else. So you're having an understanding or a misunderstanding of your importance when you say, I can do it by myself. From that standpoint, interdependence is something that you have to realize that we live in all the time, even for the basic things. How many of us have gardens where we can produce our own food?
There's a man.
That's one.
I
have, but I don't now.
We got to come back and visit. We got to come back and visit anyway because I know it's something. Hey, let me ask you something. So you did, and thank you very much, sisters. Thank you very much, Sharon. Thank you for introducing and presenting that in, because many a times that concept of that way is usually a female energy kind of thing to spit out, starting from mama and the rest of them. Use the idea more on the other side of that independent thing. Many times we have certain males that feel strongly in that way, alpha males, and then you have some of the males who are mama boys, you say, who feel I still got to be really dependent on mom. But thank you for presenting that. We needed to hear that. Doc, tell me something. What real elements that you know of that really go out of the way to act like I'm going to, and I can operate autonomous from the rest of these others elements, these rest of these atoms from the rest of them, and still exist? Is there anything that exists that way?
A parasite.
Ah,
Yeah, it's called a parasite. A
wow.
parasite is the abnormal biological reaction of symbiosis. It acts as Darwinism talks about. Eat up all you can. Don't worry about tomorrow because tomorrow we die. you know. So
Mm,
it doesn't look to for survival or to thrive. It just looks for its own selfish gain. What can I get today? F everybody else. They can go in and die. Oh, you know what I mean. I hope I
wow.
can say F.
No, well,
Yes.
Yeah,
I
you know.
forgot about that. You're right about that. No ends, no F's, no other stuff. So that's interesting. You said parasites, but are you saying that parasites don't even know that sometimes if they do that, if they can't get to the next victim, that they themselves are going to die too, right along with that?
I don't know if they know that. I think they're already designed because see, parasites are really they supposed to eat away all filth and eat away everything until it's dissolved.
Mm,
And they usually go after stuff according to science. They go after decaying matter, stuff that's
mm,
dead and decaying. It'll eat it up. But
mm-hmm.
we use that terminology in other stuff when we see those who are here living doing the same thing as a parasite when they have parasitic activity or
Okay.
mindset, in other words.
Mm-hmm,
But a
mm-hmm,
parasite, that's why they're being likened to a parasite, because a parasite will be nonstop in eating away something until it's all gone. You see a buzzard, for example. A buzzard don't sit there and just eat a piece of the animal that's dead on the side. They come there to devour anything that is dead laying on the ground. They're the cleaners of the earth, in other words.
yes, 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 yes. Okay. Okay. Now I understand what you're saying in this case. There I'm hearing you saying that even though they need to depend upon those other living beings or the other particular cell to be alive until they eat it and devour it, or
Hmm.
be in existence to the devour it, you're still saying that the balance towards the direction of life is not a direction that they're trying to go.
Right. Because here again, look at the bee. We said if the bee was just sit there and be a parasite and eat all the nectar and
Mhm.
don't spread the pollen, he's a parasite. He's just worrying about
Mm,
himself. You see what I'm coming from?
mhm,
And if the flower only thought about itself, it won't put out no nectar. It only have pollen going out, so it won't feed the bee. It's selfish and it's going to die. The bee
wow,
is going to die. So that's parasitic activity, in other words. When
wow.
you're only in it for yourself, like you see men get into relationship only
Mhm,
wanting to get what they want out of the relationship. They ain't trying to, please the woman and be dependent with them, help out
uh-huh,
intra dependent with them, and like.
mhm,
But when we look at intradependent again, we'll see that it's more like the plant and the trees and us. In other words, we put off what? Oxygen, right?
oxygen, yes.
And who uses we breathe in oxygen and we put out carbon dioxide, right?
Hmm.
And
Yes.
what does the tree do? The tree put out oxygen and take in carbon dioxide. See how that relationship is right there? They
Mhm,
use our waste and turn it into something we then can use again, and then our waste we put out for something they can use again. That's
mhm,
an intradependent relationship there. In other words, what I'm not using comes to work for you, but the inter is more or less where I'm going to be a side by side with you. What you can't do, I'm going to do, and what
mhm.
I can't do, you're going to do. That's more interdependent. The
It
intra,
is. Intra.
yeah,
Yeah,
the intra is more like, hey, you're getting what I don't need and turning it into what I do need, and I'm putting out what you don't need.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
Just to help you out real quickly. Again, interdependence really is just two independent people in the relationship, no doubt about it. They then do things once in a while or at times as partner that they can't do by themselves. Okay.
right.
Intra is those two beings understanding that there are things that they must. and they have to, and they should want to do only within themselves, both coordinating using some things that we're going to talk about, that without that, the relationship itself can't survive.
It can't survive.
That's what I'm
It
saying.
can't survive.
It can't survive. Interdependence doesn't mean that it can't survive. Interdependence is very much that the relationship can survive, and you just both are doing independent things. And one's
Right. Right.
And everybody hold on for a minute, but because we got more than part one on this. It's going to be more than part one.
But hold on.
That's powerful though. Go ahead.
This is where I have to step off the train.
Yes.
Oh,
And
no.
I have totally enjoyed this, but I've got to finish getting ready and get down to breakfast by 8 o'clock. I've got 9 minutes to get down there, and so I didn't want to. I hate to cut everybody off. I was enjoying this, and I'm looking forward to being back in that black chair. So
Ah,
It's there for you, baby. It's there for you.
yeah. Be
Thank
safe.
you.
but you all continue with this amazing discussion, and I'm going to try to pick it up again once I get back and be able to hear the rest of it later on tonight or tomorrow morning for you all. But anyway, I'm going to try to get it. And Dr. Frazier, it's really great to have you back on the show as our
Thank
guest.
you.
You bring great knowledge and a great help to us. And I'm going to go out and eat some vegetables today.
Yes. I want to hear about that. You didn't tell me about that.
Oh yeah, when I come back, we're gonna have to all sit down together and I'll tell you all about it. It's every time I go to lunch or dinner or whatever, I think about, oh, Dr. Frazier would be happy with what I'm eating today,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all I'm doing is walking and eating vegetables. So it's good. But anyway, it's good to see you again, and
Thank you.
love you, babe.
Love you too, baby.
Likewise.
You take care. Be
All right,
safe. Bye now.
all right.
Be safe.
Wow.
That's well, she's doing good, man. You talked into that?
What the vegetable thing or going to Korea?
Yes.
Which one?
The
Going to Korea?
vegetable thing. The
No,
vegetable thing.
no. Well, you're right, because the only vegetable she mostly ate was broccoli, and that's it that I know of. She
Yeah.
didn't hardly eat no other vegetables. She would do cabbage once in a while because I like cabbage.
Yeah.
But I couldn't even. I don't know if you agree with it, but I couldn't even get her to do greens, and I love greens. I can't.
Oh,
Even
wow.
I got to push her to do that once in a while. So and now that she's gone for about a month, now I have to up the game of me doing my own fixing. And I've been so used to her doing it. Now I got to change my mindset. Talk about that intra dependence is now being, how can I say it, not tested, but now what's being tested is the independent side that sometimes we go through in a relationship, because things like this happen. I mean, and thank God it's not a drastic one where she is hurt, disabled, and then therefore there's some things that has to be done more than what the other person does. That doesn't happen. Sometimes in a relationship that has to be done, and those things do come about. And on that particular note, we want to get into the structure of intradependence, because I think it's so important for us to look at the structure of interdependence. As you were talking and you crossed over to it in a relationship, I want to bring up one particular structure of intradependence. I'll get it right here.
Okay.
Mutual reliance. Mutual reliance, the components of an element within a relationship or a system where mutual reliance on each other means that changes or disruptions in one part can affect the other. Again, meaning that changes or disruptions in one part can affect the other. So that gives you the definition of why mutual alliance is so important in intradependence when it comes to a relationship. What is your thought at the level that you talk about it, Doc?
Well, we're seeing that right now. If you ride down in Port Wentworth or Savannah now, they cutting down trees by the boatloads now and putting up these warehouses. Well, warehouses don't put out oxygen, and they don't suck up carbon dioxide. So we're losing a lot of our the intradependence that we have with trees due to the fact we're cutting them all down. You know what I mean? So we're not going to have we have to have that oxygen from the plants. But if we're not getting it because there is no more trees, then we're going to be dying out here our own self. We're going to kill our own self. We become parasites when we destroy the very thing that we need and depend on, which is trees to provide us with oxygen and to absorb the carbon that we breathe out every minute.
You know, and when I think about, since you were talking about on that level of breath, and we only got a couple of seconds, or actually a couple of minutes before I have to shut down, I think about how in our relationships, on the emotional side, many times we keep our emotions separate. And because the emotions being separate, where we're not speaking emotionally how we feel, then we have many times misunderstandings of where we are in the connection to our relationships. We speak out loud, at least through the connection of the relationship through marriage or us physically being together, that there is love supposed to be connected with one another. Of course, balanced relationship, we say it's friendship, yet we don't mutually effectively either speak that openly or to one another or behind closed door. And because of that lack of mutuality of being spoken in practice, then you could tell that is a disruptive, and it affects your relationship. And I know many of us who are listening to it, we are acting that same way. She's doing her same thing. You're doing the same thing. You're not really connected at all. You're not breathing out to one another, or that other person needs to know, do you really love me? Do you really care about me? And you're just letting them guess, being separate from one another, and there's no really mutual reliance. We know sometimes it comes down to sadly that thing that says, I don't really need you. You don't really need me. I don't need no man. I don't need woman. And so you have to think to yourself, what are you doing in a relationship if that's what the kind of energy you're putting off? What's your thought about that? And we'll leave that as being the last one before we go.
Well, I definitely agree with that. In helping with, when we be coaching with different couples, we have them with inquiry, to inquire with others and to have clear expectations from one another. Don't leave the person guessing or anything, So make sure you speak out what you expect, what you want, or what you need, or inquire what makes you happy and stuff like that with the other individual, and inquire what makes them happy. As long as you know what's going on, you tend to, be able to be there for them in the way that they need you to show up in their life. But if they don't know, they're just going to be showing up. You know what I'm saying? It might not like the way they show up.
Yeah, don't play that poker game. Know when to hold him. Know when to hold him. And many times in relationships, that's what they're playing. I'm gonna hold my cards to my chest just to check to see if you put your cards down, so I know what's going on. And you can never guess what's going on with me. I think a lot of us are carrying around a lot of hurt. And that's why we operate that way, to protect ourselves. Anyway, we got to end the show. Hopefully we'll get you next time around for part 2. Doc, tell us where we can see you.
You can find me here every Tuesday on Our Black Media platform, on Facebook, on Roku, YouTube. You can, that's Our Black Media. That's Tuesday at 6 p.m. You can see me live there talking about health, natural AF. And also you can get in contact with me at savannahnaturalhealth@gmail.com.
All right, good. Stay on a little bit after the show. I want to talk to you just a little bit, but thank you for being back. We're glad to see that you came back for your Rip Van Winkle sleeping, and you're back out here to help the rest of us, bringing everything from your dreams over to make them a reality here on this plane. Thank you very much. God bless everyone. Till next Thursday, I think it is 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. See you then.
like that. like this. I like that.